Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Pay attention to a potential mate's spending habits. Now, on this side, I don't usually get into relationships too much, I've said several times, yeah, plenty of men can get a woman without spending his money. Okay, that's cool. But if you're talking about a long-term relationship, whether it's whether you're living together or marrying the person, the money comes in, and not to impress. See, that's one thing, because you're still not using the money to impress the person. You need it for practical reasons. Y'all need a place to live. Y'all need to eat. Y'all need to pay bills. And I've said this before. I'll say it 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Marriages are businesses. I don't care how lovey-dovey y'all are with each other. I don't care, and the sex could be the bomb. Have you floating on air, sending messages and stuff to the great pumpkin, it could be the bomb. You generally love this person. You just feel good with them. You just like them as a person. You like talking with them. All right, that's cool. But y'all two get married, y'all could be split in a year. Why? Because of the spending habits. If you're a person who is very conscious of how you spend your money, you believe in saving, and indeed you can even be frugal, you're gonna have trouble getting along with a person who doesn't save money, a person who spends it just without thinking about it, a person who just wants to blow it. They could even be a gambler. Oh, there's going to be some problems. Because it's a business. Marriage or living together is a business, because you have to pay the rent or the mortgage. You paying somebody to live there, whether it's some private landlord or the bank. You paying something. And indeed, if you own the house, if you buying the house, you still got to pay for insurance. You're going to need like an emergency fund if something breaks down. You're going to have money. If something breaks down, you can't call management. You're actually better off if you're renting. That way you can at least put in a report to management to have maintenance come by. But if you live in a house, you're going to have to fix the stuff. So that's money. You got to pay. You got to have food in the fridge. You probably going to have to figure out the car situation. You probably have to have 2 cars, because both of you most likely have to work. In other words, money is very important. So their spending habits are important, as I said. If one is frugal and the other is a spendthrift, there's going to be problems. Or one is like willing to work and bring in some money. The other one just wants to sit around the house, And I know some guys want to be traditional men and talking about, oh yeah, I'll take care of it and stuff. Well, in this day and age, you're going to need a whole lot of money to do it. It's depending on where you at. She might have to work. Either way, shoot. You might have to still work 2 jobs. She might have to work 2 jobs, But you got to pay attention to that. When you meet somebody, depends on what you want. Now, if you just like, this will be casual and everything, okay, fine. But then, y'all might roll on from each other. Okay, hey, good, y'all had fun. Might not have spent that much money. Okay, that's cool. But if even say you thought of it that way at first, but then it grows into something more. Okay, you got to start paying attention to the spending habits. In fact, I'm going to tell you what. Pay attention to them beforehand. As soon as you encounter the person, just pay attention to how they spend money. And just seriously, what do they do? Are they the person got to go to all the concerts? Do they always have to eat at some fancy restaurant? I want you to think about that. Because that means a lot. Trust me, I've seen that on some occasion. You might have one side of the couple, they don't want to go all these crazy places, and they want to save that money. The other one, they got the money, so they want to go out and do all that. That's going to hit you at some point. Because what happens if somebody loses a job, or there's some change somewhere? You know, what if you're renting and a landlord wants to sell the place and you can't afford to buy it? All of a sudden, you got to have the good credit to get someplace else. You got to have good credit, period. That means a lot. Like I said, marriage is a business. Marriage is a business. Y'all can love each other all y'all want, but when you're talking about when the money part come in, it becomes a business. So you need to pay attention, even when you meet them. If you meet somebody, say, if you're a man, you meet that woman, you meet that man. But like I said, you good with spending your money. They might not be. Or let's twist this around. You spend money like crazy. There's gonna be problems if they frugal. There's gonna be problems because other than sex and a sexual relationship, marriages and relationships will break up over money, especially marriages. You ask them why they really break up, it was a money thing. It's like a real thing because it affects so much. But if they got bad spending habits, that's a recipe for trouble. While you dating, you should get an idea. And then, y'all can have fun with it at first, but then as you start getting serious, you need to have that conversation. And if you're getting married, and I've said this several times, because you'll have relationship counselors, church counselors, relationship counselors before you get married. I strongly recommend getting a financial counselor to have a conversation. Somebody who can say, well, okay, y'all getting married. Okay, here's where the bills are. This is what's going to happen. This is what you got to think about. What are your spending habits? What's your debt to income ratio? Because there's been many a couple, one might be good with paying all their bills, no real debt. Then they find out the hard way their partner has a bunch of debt, which then becomes their debt. So you got to think about it. And you were good whether you don't have debt because you were good with managing your money. They're not. And then, once y'all married, shoot, that debt, her debt or his debt becomes your debt. I want you to think about that. You want to pay close attention. You pay close attention. Yeah, you might love each other. Sex is great. They're beautiful. But you got to look at that. And then the only thing I could say, if y'all sit down and have that conversation, if they're willing to change some stuff. But here's one thing I would say. People, once they have a certain spending habits and all of that, it gets real hard to change it. It gets real hard. So really, you got to look at that. Yeah, they're fine, whatever you consider physically attractive. They make you laugh and everything. But that money thing and how they spend it, that's the relationship killer. All right? So I want y'all to think about what I'm saying. And till the next episode, let's go make that money.